What's up, everyone? Kristen Lago here for Get Sports Focus. Welcome to a very exciting Week 8 of Around the Pac. Now, if you're like me at home, you're still recovering from what was a crazy weekend in all of NCAA football. I'm talking upsets galore, blowouts, and of course, a few nail-biters as well. Today, I want to recap a blowout that happened in the Pac-12 North. I'm talking the now-ranked number 22 Stanford Cardinal dominating the Oregon Ducks this weekend in what was a great game for the Cardinal as a whole. But I want to focus on one player from the Cardinal offense, and no, don't hold your breath. I'm not going to be talking about running back Bryce Love, who I must say had a great game this weekend, especially in the first half. Took him only 5 minutes to pass that 100-yard mark and notched 2 TDs to add to his Heisman caliber resume. I'm actually going to talk about their starting quarterback for this game, Keller Chryst. Now, head coach David Shaw has been flip-flopping between Chryst and the true freshman out of Orange County, KJ Costello, but I think this weekend you saw Keller Chryst really come into his own and establish himself as the starting caliber quarterback that Stanford needs moving into their bye week and moving forward as they take on other schools like UCLA and Cal down the line. Now, Chryst, in just one drive, one pass, I must say, actually surpassed Braxton Burmeister, the Oregon quarterback. Burmeister just completed one pass for 4 yards, and this one pass coming in the first drive of the game. On 2nd and 11, Keller Chryst drops back into the pocket, steps up, and delivers a 34-yard dime to his wide receiver, J.J. Arciega. It was sign of good things to come for this quarterback. Now, the Oregon defense was able to hone in on the traditional rushing attack that Stanford presents. Bryce Love actually exited the game early. He limped off the field. So without their star running back, Keller Chryst really stepped it up in the air raid attack for the Cardinal. He finished the night 15 of 21 for 181 yards. He found J.J. Arciega-Whiteside 2 times in the end zone, as well as his true freshman tight end, Colby Parkinson, also out of Southern California, for his first TD of the day in the end zone. And he just was a great, solid presence for that line. Like I said, they're heading into a bye week. I think it's a sign of good things to come for this guy. Way to go, Keller Chryst. You're my player of the weekend.
The story of the game for me is Keller Chryst. Keller played so well, played so composed, handled all the protections, handled all the running game, and made some big-time throws.
It was a good team win, Guys made plays across the board, offense, defense, and special teams. Defense, special teams especially helped us out, gave us great field position, even making points for us on the block punt. So that made our job a lot easier. And, some of them we were able to capitalize, some of them, we'd love to have back and be able to capitalize a little better.
Another Stanford team I want to talk about is actually on the women's front, who is rolling as well. The number 3 ranked Stanford women's volleyball team. They won 2 road games against USC and UCLA. What a successful trip down south it was for the Cardinal. They're currently 8-0 in Pac-12 play, and they improved their win streak to 10 straight with those 2 road victories this weekend. I want to talk about the star player of each game. First up against the Bruins, they notched that victory in 3-1 sets. They were led by sophomore wing player Catherine Plummer, who finished the day with almost a triple-double. I'm talking 21 points, 10 digs, and 8 service aces. They moved on to face USC. They also took that one 3-1. The star of that show was redshirt senior Marette Lutz. She matched a high of 15 kills in that game. She had a high hitting percentage, only 1 error on the day, added 5 blocks. She improved her career kills number to a phenomenal 1,056 career kills. Very impressive day for the senior, the redshirt senior. Now they're going to hope to continue their run. They take on a ranked opponent this week in the number 14 Washington Huskies, but I think you're going to see this one just rolling on through. They are a great group of girls, and they're really playing up to their highest potential right now. Moving on, I got to talk about football some more. I'm going to do a special segment for the first time this week called Kristen's Hot Takes, where I'm going to take the 3 biggest games in the Pac-12, both the North and the South. I'm going to give you 2 bold predictions I think is going to happen in each, and of course, who I think is going to take the game. Starting off with my alma mater, USC, taking on Notre Dame. They're actually both ranked in the top 25 for the first time since 2009. USC holding on to that number 11 spot. Notre Dame right behind at number 13. Now, this rivalry is one of the richest and most hollowed in college football. Now, they have a combined 22 national championships and 14 Heisman trophies between the 2 schools. So I'm expecting a huge game on both sides. It's very important in both sides as far as those college football playoff implications, those bowl game implications, and of course, USC and Notre Dame looking to finish in the top 5 for the first time since the BCS was actually canceled out and the college football playoff was created. So, bold predictions. USC's high-powered defense is going to stall Notre Dame's 5th-ranked rushing offense. I think Porter Gaston is expected to come back this weekend. He's going to be a huge kind of pick-me-up sort of presence on the D-line, but him combined with guys like Uchenna Nwosu, Cameron Smith, Christian Rector, who has stepped up in big ways in Gaston's absence, I think those 4 are really going to step up. They're going to halt that rushing attack that Notre Dame does have, and I think you're going to have a big game from the USC D-line. Now, my second bold prediction, bear with me because I know you're all going to doubt me. I think it's going to be a breakout game for USC quarterback Sam Darnold. Now, even with the fumbles he had last weekend against Utah that resulted in 14 points for the Utes, he did not turn the ball over in the air. He actually rallied his troops for an amazing second half comeback. They were down heading into the half, and they actually tacked on 3 TDs in the second half alone. So I think you're going to see that sort of composed guy that we're used to from last season. He threw for 358 yards and no interceptions, so pretty good numbers if it wasn't for those fumbles. I think this weekend in practice, he's really going to focus on protecting the football. I think you're going to see a breakout game for him, and I think USC is going to take it. No, it's not because I'm an alum, but I do think it means a lot more for USC this season. They've really kind of held on to get their wins. I think they want to make a statement and win for the first time in South Bend since 2011 under their leader, head coach Clay Helton, who wants his first win in South Bend. Second biggest game of the weekend, Arizona at Cal. Now, Arizona is coming off a big win over the UCLA Bruins, 47-30. It's in large part thanks to their dual threat quarterback, Khalil Tate. Cal is also coming up of a huge win. They upset the top-ranked, the number 8 formerly ranked Washington State Cougars this weekend. Bold predictions for that one. Number 1, Cal's defense was turnover city last weekend against the Cougars. There are 5 interceptions on the day. They didn't allow Washington State quarterback Luke Falk into the end zone at all. Now, they're traditionally a pretty bad, not the best passing defense in the NCAA, but I think they're showing a lot of improvement. If 5 interceptions tell you anything, I think if they can contain Khalil Tate, force him to throw the football, their secondary is going to capitalize. I'm calling at least 1 interception on the night for the Cal Bears. Now, moving on to my second prediction, I think Cal is going to take the win. That's my number 2 bold prediction for this game. They're back at home. They have a lot of momentum under their first-year head coach, Justin Wilcox. They just won a huge upset. They want to continue that winning streak against the Wildcats. I think Ross Bowers has looked the part of the starting quarterback, less the inexperienced sophomore. I keep replaying his flipping TD in my mind. If he can do the same thing and capitalize on a thin Wildcats defensive line, they're going to be without defensive tackle Parker Zellers, who was ejected from the game with a targeting call. He has to sit out the first half. They can capitalize on his absence, really put up a lot of points in that first half, and then contain Khalil Tate in the second. I think you're going to see the California Golden Bears come out with their 2nd consecutive win. Last game I want to talk about is the Washington State Cougars taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, the Cougars fell for the first time this season last weekend, while Colorado got their first win in 4 games against Oregon State. Bold prediction number 1. Luke Falk will get things back on track. He entered the matchup against Cal with just 2 interceptions on 6 games. I think you're going to see the more traditionally composed and confident guy we're used to back in the helm for the Cougars. I think he's going to rebound in a big way against the Buffaloes. Number 2 prediction, Washington State defense is going to capitalize on a Colorado team that is conceding a lot of points this season. I believe they're conceding an average of 35.5 points per game. They barely beat off Oregon State, who had only reached the 30-point mark just once this season. They reached that again and almost came back to take that game against the Buffaloes. So I'm picking Washington State all day, every day this weekend. I think they're going to bounce back. Mike Leach, not happy about that loss. He wants a win this weekend. I think he's going to get it. Other big games to pay attention to. ASU had the big upset win over Washington. Going to be taking on Utah, while Oregon will be taking on UCLA. Make sure you pay attention to all the craziness that I'm sure will ensue this weekend in the Pac-12 and the NCAA in general, but also make sure you tune in next week to Around the Pac. For Get Sports Focus, I'm Kristen Lago.